Welcome to The Ladder, a weekly dose of personal development ideas to help spark your imagination, increase your leadership skills, and bring more success into your life. And now, here's your host, James Theros.
Welcome to another episode of the Ladder Podcast. I'm James Theros, your host, and as a reminder, this podcast is all about helping you, the listener, ascend the ladder of success. Now, my subject for today is also a very important, as they all are, a very important rung on that ladder. So the ladder of success is a very tall one indeed, but there are many rungs to climb up on that ladder, and each time we grasp one of these concepts and put them into use as a skill set, I believe we take a step up the ladder. And today we're going to be talking about commitment and the benefits of commitment. See, when you're committed to something, everything changes. The first thing that changes is your belief in yourself, your belief in what it is you're doing, and everything improves from that point. So when you get committed, think about anything in life that you have really committed to and how it has benefited you. And then think about something that maybe you are wishy-washy about. You were not fully committed. You were sticking your toe into the water and testing it out before you got in. And for a moment, let's talk about sticking your toe in the water. How many times have you been to go swimming somewhere? And if you're in Florida here, probably a lot more than the average Joe. But if you stick your toe in the water and you find that it's cold, and so you let your foot stay in the water and get used to it, and then you put more of your leg in the water and you let your leg get used to it, and then you get up to your waist and then you let everything get used to it, and then you get up to your chest and then you let it finally get used to that, and then finally you take the plunge and go under. Or you just jump right in. Which one allows you to get the most comfortable the quickest? Now, if you've done either one of these two, if you've done both of these two, then you know that fully well the answer is number two, just jumping right in with both feet and, being cold for a moment or two, but then you quickly get used to the water and you can enjoy the activity of swimming. Or you can do the other one, and by the way, I'm guilty of doing both of these things myself, and I probably will continue doing both of them. Even though I teach these concepts, I'm not perfect at them. But I also catch myself going back to the first method and sticking my toe in the water, then up to my knee, and then up to my waist, and then up to my chest, and then finally all the way in. That typically takes me 3 to 10 times longer to get used to the water, and sometimes I may not fully get into the water at all and just enjoy keeping my feet in the water. And in those moments, I don't think that I'm fully enjoying the possibilities of that activity. And I think that's just a metaphor for pretty much anything. Now, many of you know who are listening, you know that I am a martial arts instructor, and so we have martial arts testing, and we are currently, as of today, this is March 26th, 2018, this Wednesday and Thursday, we are going to be conducting promotion tests, and some of our students will be breaking boards. Well, this exact concept of commitment will apply to their success or failure at breaking these boards as well. Because really what we do, the reason we do board breaking in martial arts, at least in our school, is because it is a system of goal setting. You see, the idea, let's say a student is going to do a front snap kick to break a board. The goal is to put their foot from where it starts to the ending position, which should be about 6 inches past that board, or even 6 inches away from the person holding the board. So the goal is to get your foot from one side to the other. And the obstacle then is the board itself. And some students, when they come up, they will tip-tap on the board a few times without committing to it. They'll try to kick it and hope that it breaks, and if it doesn't break, they do the same thing again, and then 3 or 4 times into it, their foot starts to hurt. The student who goes up takes a look at it, prepares, touches it once or twice, and then with full commitment strikes that board with everything they've got, usually succeeds on their first or second attempt, and there is little to no pain in their foot whatsoever because they committed to doing it. The basic idea behind breaking a board, the commitment has to be, it's a thought process. The commitment has to be, that either the board is going to break or my foot is going to break. One of those two things are going to happen, but I'm going to go through this thing 100% with 100% of my effort and intention. And that's what commitment is. Same thing with getting married. A marriage is a commitment. Enrolling in college for 4 to 8 years, that's a commitment. Taking on a job, that is a commitment. There's so many other things that we do that are commitments. Now, if you give somebody a time commitment, you say, for instance, I'll see you at 5 p.m., I'll be there, and then you're not there at 5 p.m., you just broke a commitment, and that will then weaken the relationship. Even if the other person doesn't say anything right away, you have just weakened the relationship. Every time you do that after the fact and continue to do it, you continue to weaken that relationship because you are not showing any commitment. You're not honoring your commitments. And so I think the first person that we have to learn to honor commitments to is ourselves. So here are the three benefits I can give you as far as being committed, how they can benefit you. So once you get committed, and the same thing applies here. Let me digress one more time. As a martial artist, we have something called our Black Belt Club, which is a black belt training program. And what this really is, it's a group of students in our school who have all decided on the same goal of training all the way to black belt. Notice I didn't say training until they think about and as long as they like it. They're training to become black belts, training all the way to black belt and beyond. Because as I just said a moment ago with the board breaking and commitment, we don't set our goals for the goal itself. We need to set our goals past where we actually want to achieve. So it's the same thing that many of us have heard, that if you shoot for the stars and you miss, you at least land on the moon. So the idea being that if you make the commitment to shoot for the stars, you're going to at least hit somewhere closer than if you just say, well, I'm going to jump, or I'm going to shoot for something and I'm not sure what it is, or how high I'm going to try and aim. So it's the same concept in our martial arts program, that students who walk onto the floor and the quicker they decide that they are going to train all the way to black belt, the more committed they are and the more benefits they're going to get from their training, because they are now going to be taking it seriously if they are accepted into that program. Because we are looking out for students who say that they want to become a black belt, but then don't back up that commitment that commitment with any real commitment or action behind it. They say they want to become a black belt, but they don't come to classes consistently. They say they want to become a black belt, but they don't practice outside of class. Things like this. So we've got to be able to back up our commitment with an action plan and actually do some things towards the achievement of that goal. And that's really what commitment is. You're committed to doing it no matter what. So somebody who's committed to physical fitness, for example, is not going to allow the weather to keep them from working out or exercising. They're not going to allow lack of time to keep them from working out or exercising. They're not going to allow lack of sleep to get in the way of their exercising. That is commitment. When they're committed to it, as a young man, I was a newspaper carrier, and I was committed to carrying those newspapers 7 days per week. I had 4 paper routes. I had 2 in the morning and 2 in the afternoon, and it didn't matter whether it was rain, shine, sleet, hail, snow, freezing weather. It did not matter. I had to get up and I had to get those newspapers to those customers every single day, and I had to get them there by a specific time. So that really taught me about the concept of commitment. And if I expected to get paid, that's what I had to do. I was expected to be committed to getting their newspaper to them every time. Now, the more consistent I was about that, now, of course, I wasn't perfect. There were days that I actually missed a house or two, and in 1 or 2 cases, maybe I missed delivering the entire day's newspaper, where somebody else had to go behind me and deliver that route late and deal with the irate customers who probably went down to the local village pantry or something and purchased their own paper after the fact, and then complained to the newspaper company about they shouldn't have to pay for that particular day's newspaper, and they were in the right to do so. But if I wanted to get paid, and if I wanted to go even above and beyond that and receive tips from my customers in the form of financial tips, I had to be early and I had to be consistent with the newspaper. And if I was also very committed, what I would do is take the newspapers on rainy days and wrap them in a plastic bag so that they wouldn't get wet, or at least put the newspaper inside their screen door so that the rain couldn't get to it. So those little things of being committed to my newspaper route are what helped me maintain customers, gain new customers, and receive great tips around Christmas time. So this is the concepts that I'm talking about go far beyond carrying newspapers or far beyond earning a black belt in the martial arts. They apply to everything in our lives. So the first benefit of being committed is that it keeps us focused. If you can commit to something, it will keep you focused because you're not going to allow other extraneous opportunities to step in and sidetrack you. So for instance, again, if you're a martial arts student and you're coming to classes Tuesdays and Thursdays, then an opportunity pops up on Tuesday night for a friend and you to go see a movie. If you're truly committed to your martial arts, you're going to do one of two things. Number one is you're going to tell that person, I'm sorry, we can't do it tonight because I have martial arts at this particular time. However, we could do it tomorrow night, and I'd be happy to see it then. What do you think about that? Or you could make arrangements with your instructor to make that class up tomorrow and go ahead and miss the Tuesday night class with the understanding that there's no matter what, you will be there tomorrow to make up that class. So either way, there's still a commitment being shown to attending and showing up for your classes. So making a commitment has the benefit of keeping us focused. All right? Benefit number two is ensures that we're going to work harder than anybody else. So again, think about it. Again, if you're a martial arts person, you think about it. If you're committed to earning your black belt, how much work, effort, and sacrifice are you willing to put in versus the person who's unsure whether they're going to even continue doing this 3 months from now? That should be a very easy answer to come to. So it's the same as anything else. The more committed we are to anything, the harder we are going to work at it. And same thing in relationships. If I'm married and I really want my marriage to work, I'm going to be very, very committed to making sure I do everything possible to make sure that that marriage works. But if I'm simply dating somebody where I'm not, and even dating is a commitment, but if it's not as committed to the relationship as marriage would be. So if I'm dating somebody and I decide that I don't like that person anymore, or they don't like me anymore, it's a lot easier to back out of that relationship than it is if you're married, right? So marriage is a commitment. And there's the old saying of who's more committed when it comes to breakfast, the chicken or the pig. And if you're not sure of which one it is the pig, because the chicken is just involved. And I'll let you think about that one for a moment, because the chicken is just involved and the pig is truly committed. All right, and then the third benefit of being committed is it helps us become more successful. It helps to lead us to success. And I forget the actual, I want to say it was Van Gogh, Vongoethe, I think it's Van Gogh. He said that providence moves mountains, right? When one is truly committed, that let me see if I can pull this up real quick, or I'm going to butcher it. Let's see. Let me look up Van Gogh commitment. Let's see what he says. Van Gogh commitment. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment that one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All right, and so that's basically what he was saying, was when you get committed, you can move mountains, right? In the Bible, it talks about faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. And really, if you think about any time you've seen somebody committed to moving from one point of a room to another point of a room, when they demonstrate true commitment, I mean, they're just making a beeline for wherever it is they're going, everybody moves out of their way. They see the commitment in their footsteps, they see the commitment in their body language, and we move out of their way because they seem to have an agenda. That's something that they're truly committed to, and that might be going from point A to point B in a room. But it works there as well. So guys, that's the message today. Get committed to something. I don't care what it is. Whatever it is you're doing in your life that you really want to see results in, commit to it. You want to lose weight? Commit to it. Stop being wishy-washy about it. You want to save money, get yourself out of debt? Commit to it. Stop being wishy-washy. Stop making excuses for yourself. Do what needs to be done and stay committed to it until you achieve that goal. And here's the other part of it. When you start getting close to achieving that goal, reset your goal. Always shoot past that original goal. So whatever it is, even in your mind, if you want to save $1,000, don't set your goal for saving $1,000. Set your goal for saving $1,500. In the process of saving $1,500, you will achieve your goal of saving $1,000. If you want to lose weight, don't say I want to lose 10 pounds. Tell yourself and set the goal and be committed to losing 15 pounds. And I can promise you the 10 pounds will come off. It works the same way in every area of our lives. So learn to be committed. And I'll talk to you next week with another episode of The Ladder.